everybody, today I'm going to show you how to play El Grande. So first you're going to want to set up the board in easy reach of all the players. Then place the Castillo in the designated space on the board. Then give each player 30 caballeros of the same colour, represented here by these meeples. Note that other editions use cubes instead. Then separate your caballeros into a group of 9 and into a group of 21. The small group is known as your court, and the large group is known as your province. I'll explain this later. Also give each player a set of matching 13 power cards, this large meeple known as a Grande, and also a secret disc. Place each player's coloured cube onto the 0 spot of the points track, and also place the round marker onto the first point of the round track. Randomly deal each player a region card. Then place your Grande and 2 caballeros from that player's court onto that space. That region is known as that player's home region. Then draw another region card and place the king on that region. Place the action cards close to the board within view of all the players. Then separate the action cards into 5 separate stacks depicted by these illustrations on the back of the cards. Also place the 2 mobile scoreboards close to the board. Randomly determine a first player. You are now ready to start the game. Each round starts by revealing the top action card of each stack. Note that the 5th stack only has 1 card, so that card will be available every round. Starting from the first player, each player will select a power card. These power cards determine the order in which action cards are drafted. They also determine how many caballeros are moved from each player's province to their court. For example, this one here will give me 4 caballeros from my province to my court. Note that other players cannot select the same power card that has already been chosen. The player who selected the highest power card then takes their turn. First, they move the number of caballeros as depicted on their power card from their province into their court. So in this example, they take 4. They then select their desired action card. For example, let's choose the 5 card here, the King's card. Each action card has 2 functions. This part of the card here is the card's ability. This part down here determines how many caballeros are allowed to be placed onto the board. Note that each player can resolve these in any order they want to. So they could place their caballeros and then use the ability, or they could use the ability and then place their caballeros. This is very important. So let's resolve this card's special ability. This one allows us to move the king to any region and place 5 caballeros. So let's move the king to our home region. This can prove beneficial during the scoring round. Then we'll place 5 caballeros. Now, caballeros can be placed in any region adjacent to the king. So in this example, I can place them in Valencia, Castilla la Nueva, or Sevilla. Note that I can never place them in the zone of the king or remove any caballeros in the region of the king. The region of the king is always locked and can never ever be altered. So let's place 1 in Valencia, 1 in Castilla la Nueva, 1 in Sevilla. With my remaining 2 caballeros, I'm going to place them into the Castillo. Note that players are never ever allowed to look inside the Castillo until the scoring round. This concludes the yellow player's turn. Now the blue player gets to take his turn because they played the 2nd highest power card. They would then choose out of the 4 available action cards, use the special ability and place caballeros according to the number depicted on the action card. Once every player has taken their turn, the round marker is moved onto the next spot on the track. Then, the sequence is repeated. Note that the player who played the lowest power card takes the first player marker. They then get to choose their next power card first. The top card of each action card stack will then be drawn, and they will replace the existing action cards used in the previous round. This excludes the fifth card, because this is always the king card. After every third round is a scoring round, where the following sequence will be resolved. First, each player chooses a region using their secret disc. Next, the contents of the Castillo are revealed. Then, points are awarded depending on how many caballeros were inside the Castillo. In this example, yellow would take 5 points because they had the most caballeros inside. They would take 5 points and add it onto their score. The blue player would score 3 points because they had the second highest amount inside the Castillo. The pink player didn't place any caballeros inside the Castillo, so wouldn't score any points. Move the points up on the score track to keep track of each player's score. So the yellow scored 5 points and the blue scored 3 points. Then move the caballeros from inside the Castillo to the area the player selected on their secret disc. So in this example, the yellow player selected Castilla la Nueva. So they pick up their caballeros and move them to the region they selected. After the Castillo has been resolved, each region is scored individually, starting with Galicia and moving down through the list accordingly. In this example, the pink player would take 4 points because they have the most caballeros in this region. The blue player would take 2 points. The yellow player would not take any points. In the result of a tie, each player would take the next value down. So in this example, both players would take 3 points each. An additional 2 points are awarded to the controlling player of a region that contains the king. Additional 2 points are also granted to players who control the area which contains their Grande. Note that they must be unanimously in the lead. They do not get this reward if they are tying for first place. So in this example, the pink player would actually score 5 points for being in control of the region, an additional 2 points for it being their home region, and an additional 2 points for it being the king's region, meaning they would score a whopping 9 points for this region. The yellow player would score 3 points. After each region has been scored, the round marker goes to the next round and play continues until all 9 rounds have been completed. And that's how you play El Grande.